Mental health professionals. What small things do parents do that gives their kids mental health issues later in life? Choosing when to give love to your child, or making them earn it. Coming in and out of their lives on a whim, constantly bringing up body image issues, especially theirs, but then buy them junk food. Mental health professional here. 1. Being in and out of their life, causing them to feel depressed and question their self-worth because their own parent doesn't want to be with them. 2. Punishing them for making honest mistakes, causing anxiety if they aren't perfect. Additionally, never punishing them for anything at all, creating a sense of entitlement. 3. Doing everything for them and never allowing them to make their own decisions, which teaches them no responsibility or problem-solving skills. 4. Enabling them to continue to make poor choices by defending them all the time, more entitlement and narcissism as they get older. 5. Only acknowledging when they do something wrong and rarely praising them. Again, more anxiety about not being perfect. 6. Being aware of abuse and not only allowing it to continue, but to do nothing to advocate for your child, or trying to sweep it under the rug, or being the one perpetrating the abuse. And all its components come into play here. 7. Sharing your adult problems with more anxiety when they feel like they have to fix your problems. There is such a thing as adult conversations. 8. Projecting your hopes and dreams on them. Maybe little Johnny doesn't want to be a lawyer. Let's not riddle him with depression because he hates his life, because you forced him to live out your dream instead of his own. 9. Not apologizing when you're wrong. This leads to the child thinking that everything is their fault anytime something goes wrong, even if they don't end up with a mental health diagnosis. We don't want them being maladjusted adults when they're older. Admit your own mistakes. My parents have never once in my life told me I am sorry I did that. And my God, it is every single conversation. We have a fucking battle because they just refuse. Apologize. Seriously, teach your kids some humility. Not a health professional. But we are going through therapy with my son right now. We are learning about circle security, meaning kids make their rounds away from and back to you. For example, kids go out to explore, then come back for an emotional cup refill. If either of those aspects of their growing up, you are scared of them going out to explore and make mistakes like a helicopter parent, or you neglect to delight in their findings when they return to you. It's a recipe for miscuing. They hide things from you / they lash out because of restrictions, which will continue to pile up as they get older. Essentially, it's a circle of trust. If you don't have trust with your child, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Mental health professional here. These are some off-the-cuff things that come to mind. Kids learn how to treat themselves, hold boundaries, self-care, etc. from how their parents treat themselves. Parents, you are a child's model. Model self-respect and self-care. Hold yourself to high standards without denigrating yourself. You get the idea. The worst thing a parent can do is criticize / provide inconsistent attachment. Most of us go to therapy to resolve issues around feeling worthy, what we need / want. Parents who shame their kids for mistakes, or even for something like crying when upset, can create these kinds of problems around emotional regulation. You don't need to coddle a tantrum. But shaming is not a great way to teach kids to self-soothe. It is, however, very difficult not to treat your kids the way your parents treated you. I can't tell you how hard it's not to scream back at a screaming kid if that's how you were treated. There are biosocial factors that were wired into your brain long before you were old enough to procreate. Therefore, self-care, admitting mistakes and getting your own therapy to resolve your own issues is key. See above. A great book about narcissistic parents and the way these sort of wounds get passed down generation to generation, the drama of the gifted child. So many things, but the biggest one that I see is not praising their kid enough. If I want my parents to take anything away from my teachings, it's that praise goes along. Who doesn't like being told they're good and that they did a good job? Praise for being. You are such an awesome kid. I love you so much. And praise for doing. Thank you so much for doing your call. It's such a big help and I appreciate it so much. Praise is a life changer, builds self-esteem, self-confidence, pride in oneself and one's work. Lack of praise can make the opposite. Too many times parents feel like cause should be expected, and to an extent is, but still telling them you appreciate it makes them want to keep doing it and motivates them. Constantly praise them for things they haven't done. Search it up. It's called the golden child syndrome. I'm not a mental health professional, but I worked in a level 3 lockdown facility for kids to rehabilitate for a few months. The amount of kids shipped off in the middle of the night simply because their parents didn't want to deal with it was unreal. And then you find out this is what the parents did with everything. Any time the kids had any kind of problem, no matter how small, the parents would avoid dealing with and wonder how their 15-year-old got hooked on meth. If your kid has a problem, fucking talk to them. Let them vent. Let them be sad, or upset, or confused. Ask your kids how they're doing and actually mean it. Open up those lines of communication, because I saw too many kids say, "It's not like anyone cares what I do anyway," and it's so sad to hear. Listen and don't underestimate their concerns. My parents used to confide in me about things that were far above my emotional capacity and my age, and to them it may have seemed small. But it made me feel like I needed to take care of them and solve their issues when I was small. They also seemed to pride themselves on never fighting in front of us, but because of that small thing, we never learned how to peacefully resolve conflict, or that disagreeing with someone isn't something to be afraid of.